everyone. Today I'm making the Savage and Brown Baconnaise. Why am I calling it, well, I would call it the Savage Brown Berry Baconnaise. Why? Because it's inspired, or I can also throw Child in there because I learned how to make mayonnaise initially from Julia Child and Alton Brown. I saw Doc Candy Berry's initial recipe. Check that video out in the description below. I thought I'd make the same adjustments Alton Brown did, except I made a couple of adjustments on Alton Brown's original recipe when I used monounsaturated extra virgin or cold pressed monounsaturated safflower oil, which is far superior to the other of the two strains of dominant, the two strains of safflower seeds. One produces high LA, the other produces high omega 9 or monounsaturated oleic. High LA, high O. Those are the two strains. OA and LA. One's high oleic or monounsaturated, that's one. You get the electric mixer. I'm going to tell you the ingredients in this particular clip. Let's get to it. Five eighths to 3/4 cup of bacon fat. It's room temperature. You really don't have to melt it in this case. Not like the way I'm going to do it. 1/4 to 3/8 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil, or a mix of extra virgin hemp seed oil and extra virgin olive oil. 2 egg yolks, pasture raised ideally. 1/2 teaspoon of good salt. I have a Himalayan pink salt here. You can use Redmond's real salt if you want to support. If you're in one of the nation states in the, I would say formerly USA Republic. To be absolutely accurate, 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of dry mustard, or in my case, a 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon. Black pepper to taste. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, and a 1/2 tablespoon of raw cider vinegar, or in the paleo version, which I'm making today, 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, and 1 teaspoon of either sauerkraut brine or kimchi juice, or pickled juice if you have, but that's made from lacto-fermented pickles. Why? That's going to eat off of the 1/8 teaspoon of unheated, unfiltered, raw, local honey. Why am I doing that? It's very simple, folks. It's because when the bacteria creates lactic and probiotic acids and stuff like that, probiotic bacteria that do that, the leuconostoc, lactobacillus, bifidus, or in other words, the bifido. Oops, get that out of the way. Alright, move over here a little bit so you can see more of what I'm doing. Got my cup of chai right here for the morning. And they eat on the polysaccharides that are prebiotic. And they create more acids that lowers the pH enough to kill any type of possible microbes. But if you're eating eggs that are supplemented with little coconut pulp from oil-pressed coconut, pressing oil out of the coconut meat, or babasu palm fruit pulp from pressing babasu palm oil out, which is largely the same properties as coconut oil for the same use for all intents and purposes, cooking and eating and cosmetic. Or if you are using coconut, unsweetened shredded coconut in small doses to feed them, you won't have to worry about Salmonella E. coli because the monolaurin and lauric acid and other mono and diglycerides of those MCTs tend to have properties against different species of fungi, especially the strains of Candida that cause yeast infections that correlate pretty much connected to dandruff and things like that. It also kills Salmonella E. coli, so potentially you might not have to worry about that. I'm not going to say that absolutely, but that's a possible And I have the mechanisms and all that down below, and I got a few feeding guides for raising chickens. If you want soy-free chickens, you're probably better off raising them yourself, unless you want to go spend a fortune on eggs at fucking Healthy Traditions. I will still link it. But anyway, that is it. That is the scheme of what we're going to do here. That is the ingredients, and I will see you in clip 2. Okay, everyone, here we go. A little separate jar, a little separate dish to, or whatever you wish to use for catching egg whites. You get enough of them. There's a good ass recipe for angel food cake you can find. Anyway, what the fuck's it still out? Thought I shut it. Okay. Separate these by hand. If you have an egg separator, good luck using that thing. I think I have one, I cannot find it. It does. If you know how to use it and you're good at it, you can make it easier when you're self-separating eggs. I just do it the old-fashioned way by hand. Like that. Careful about cracking it till it's open like so. Set that eggshell aside. No, you don't, motherfucker. No, you won't. And just get that, drop that quickly. If you got a tiny speck of egg white, it's not that big a deal. In fact, I'm just going to get this little piece of the, what would be an embryo off, I think. And just do that, and pop that bitch in there like so. For the second time, put another egg. Hit it all the way around. And then you just do the same thing again, repeat, rinse and repeat. And you just quickly pop that bitch over like so. It'll minimize getting your egg yolk messing up, there's breaking and spilling into the egg white. You don't want that because that'll mess up its ability to make angel food cake and its whippability and all, to whip air into it and stuff. Or to make other cakes that use only a small degree of leavening but will require a lot of egg whipping, you know, egg white whipping to whip air into it so it'll froth and then hold itself up. There's entire Italian cakes like that. Okay? So I'm going to do. This will be, if I want to be kitchen accurate, I'll use an actual teaspoon, but this is the case. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, I'm not seeing shit. Okay, got the Dijon mustard. Use a half a teaspoon of that or yellow mustard. If you don't have dry mustard, to do an 1/8 to 1/4. Black pepper. Good, I don't know, half a teaspoon of salt. A bit more. And what you do next is squeeze everything you can out of that lemon until you hopefully get 4 teaspoons. I will get back to you on I'll get back to you at clip 3. Alright guys, so I got all the other seasonings in. I got my 4 teaspoons of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of that kimchi brine. In this case, because I would have had sauerkraut brine if I had it, but it's okay. This is good. It's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. And going to do is I'm going to use part of the liquid now. Half of the liquid's going to go in there now. Let that drop out of this pulp in the screen here. Let's strain a bunch of that pulp out. Use half that liquid now. And start beating the shit out of it. You beat this up until it lightens in color and froths up good, and then it becomes creamy. And if you didn't get all the specks of egg white out for your yolk, don't worry. A small dose will just help that binding happen a lot sooner. And once you do this, then you start incorporating the oil when it lightens up and mixes thoroughly. I'll see you back when I get this done. Since this mixture's gotten lightened a bit, what we're going to do now is continue beating the shit out of it. I got the extra virgin olive oil and bacon grease in one little, in the one cup measuring cup. I got what I needed. I split a couple drops, but no matter. Just do a little drop at a time or two and incorporate it in like so. And the olive oil mix goes in all the way, a little at a time. You do it like this. It'll keep going, and then when you get all this in, you go through a tiny stream and start incorporating it a little more and more at a time. And then what you're going to do next is the upcoming next part. Little streams like this will work. And it lightens up a lot more, a bit more, like it's starting to here. Like it's starting to. Pick on that color, lighter color like this. And it holds all that in. You work it a little bit more until you get all that olive oil fraction in there, fully in, and you start whisking in little bit, like small dollops off a butter knife or a small spoon of bacon grease into this. And then that'll be the rest of the process, and I'll show you that when I get to it in the penultimate clip. The penultimate clip is here. What I'm going to show you now is quite simple. You're just going to take a scraping spatula, and since all the extra virgin olive oil fraction I have in this video is incorporated, I'm going to scrape all the emulsion to be off of the side of the bowl. Yes, I keep my hands clean for this operation, or I wouldn't be using my fingers. So, what I'm going to do that. I got me a little spoon out, or I'm going to in a second. What you do, you just beat this in. It's bits of dried egg yolk from air drying, you know. So I'm going to beat all that in fully. Then the next thing's coming. The spoon I'm going to be using to dollop a little bit at a time the bacon grease. It's going to be the same spoon I used for the Dijon mustard. Why? Because it's quite obvious. You don't use as many silverware pieces to do the same job. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how this is incorporated. Take a little spoon like this, and you take a spoon like that, and you just whisk it in a little at a time, folks, and you just do a little dollop, bump a little off till some drops into the thing, and you just whisk it in like that. And you keep doing it like this until a little more drops in. You do it a little like at a time, and keep reloading your spoon like this. You keep doing it. This is how you would properly do using room temperature butter to make mayonnaise similar to August von der Planet's recipe, except drastically improved. What the fuck was that? You dollop it like this, and you'll be fine. It's much quicker, by the way. You can do it by hand. It's just a lot more tedious, a lot more finicky, because you don't have as many RPMs or revolutions of spinning per minute that this whisk has. You do it like this, and you will have a Baconnaise, baby. And when you get all this liquid in, when you get half of the fat in, when you finally get half of the fat into this mix, this emulsion, you add the other half of this lemon juice, kimchi juice, spiked lemon juice mixture for probiotics. And then you add a small drizzle of honey, around an eighth of a teaspoon at most, of raw, unfiltered, unheated, local raw honey. Delicious wild honey near you, by you. That will feed the bacteria that's in here, and it'll sour it further until it is preserved. And this could last you several months to damn well over a year. And now, by the way, speaking of the improvement to the August von der Planet's recipe of mayonnaise, I got it right here as my burden of proof to my claims. The dry ginger's under there in that cabinet, along with the garlic and onion and cayenne. So it's down there in them two cabinets in the corner. Oh, shit. My folks want to make Korean seasoned crispy fried chicken today, so fuck it, why not? But anyway, that's my burden of proof. If you want that recipe, largely the same way, except you put the other oils in first, then you do the butter the same way I'm doing the bacon grease in this recipe here. If you have raw, unsalted raw butter, well, fine. That's well, then you're fully raw-tistic, as I term it. You would be following the August von der Planet's recipe fully, and you would have raw butter. It would be raw farm diet compatible if you're into that thing. If you're into that stuff.
How much ginger?
You see this beauty right here? What did I tell you? You do like I've told you, like I'm showing you. Now I got the last quarter of the liquid. I'm going to beat into it here just by hand beating, just plain with just the machine turned off. Because I can get away with that now really well. Blast that liquid, and then I'll put a little bit of raw honey to it in a little bit. Just a little.
They just don't have it in a recipe form?
I mean, you got to go to the web page for it, and your browser's foobarred, spamming itself with pages into infinity. But anyway, folks, back to y'all.
What's it called? Korean chicken?
She should have it. Just go to the video, and she should have a link to it on her. The lady should have a link to it on her video, the description box. But anyway, guys. And you see that? And I'm just working it in just like this. And then this is the penultimate clip. Okay, so I stand corrected. Now look at that. Look at that. Look at that marble. That pretty shit there. It would be more greenish if I had a mix of this extra virgin olive oil and hemp seed oil. And I went like a quarter cup each, and then a half a cup of this bacon grease. If I went that way, it'd have more greener hue to it. and the flavor of the bacon would not be as pronounced. So again, I would say an eighth of a cup each, and then 3/4 of a cup, or if you wanted to do 3/8 of the oil and then 5/8 of the bacon fat, you do 1/8 a cup or so
I'm just gonna
of the hemp seed oil, and then 1/4 cup extra virgin olive oil in a mix. Or if you just want to do a 50-50 mix of the two, just do 3/8 of a cup of that. You know, you just do that before you plan ahead. You can do that same thing. And you could do that, and you could use that and it would actually the hemp seed oil fractions. Fatty acids would actually stay liquid at colder temperatures and keep the rest of this softer, even better than what the olive oil fraction could do. The extra virgin olive oil is just nice to have, and look at how pretty that is, folks. That color, look at cream color. And you could do that, absolutely. And this is the result. All you got to do now is put it in a jar. Put it in a dark room somewhere and let it sit for 12 hours. So the bacteria in this can increase the acidity. In other words, ooh, that's good as fuck. So this will ferment for lactic acid, ferment, probiotic, for again, 12 hours or so, and then just be fine. It will work, and when it ferments, oh wait, I've got to add a tiny bit of raw honey, just a little. Like I said, unheated, unfiltered, local raw honey. Just a little of that. I'll use the back of the spoon for it. Just there's a little of that in there. 1/8 of a teaspoon at most. The carbs will be eaten up, and it'll feed the bacteria, and this will preserve it for a really, really long ass time. Months in the fridge. So yeah, ooh. Another thing about raw honey, add a small amount of this to your soda creations when you want to make a soda. Sweeten your juice a little with just a little bit of this stuff, your grape juice and stuff like that. Oh, and then go stevia the rest of the way and let it fully carbonate and eat that sugar up for, it'll add notes of the honey's floral notes and stuff into the soda. Or if you want to do orange cream soda, like low carb orange cream soda that has honey brewed into it.
Do you know where the chili paste is?
It should be. It's right in front of you. Well, that's understandable. All you saw was a green lid. It's not in you. It's just hidden by the shelf. Anyway, that's how this would work, folks. And you just let it pickle for 12 hours. You're literally using pickling bacteria to eat the honey, and it's in it, and acidify the whole chicken noodle, and culture it and lower the pH till it lasts many months. Yeah, this shit will last you longer than the shit you buy in the store, and there's no chemical, crazy, industrialist preservative BS in it. It's just real mayonnaise, real flavor, real nutrition from the pastured egg yolks, non-GMO I got down there. So yeah, enjoy the video, enjoy the recipe when you get the chance to try it. Thank you for watching. The Baconnaise.